I try to get here to my studio at 8 in the morning, and it really helps to have a model because that makes you come in on time. I'm working with my model schedule right now, and he's in school. So, for example, today we work from 8 to 12, and then I'll work on the parts of the previous painting I worked on with him that don't have a model from 12 to 4 because the days are so short right now. I only work for 8 hours, but in the summertime the days are longer, so I can work more hours. I've been working with this idea of dividing the canvas into 3 sections. So there's like the model, the part of the side, and then there's the blanket, and then there's the couch, which has this covering on it. So I wanted it to be kind of equal parts, so it wasn't like, if I put too much of the blanket in, it became kind of like a little bit of a voyeuristic peek at this part, and so I just wanted them to have an equal presence. So that's how I selected. You know, there's a way that you can get inspired by looking at the actual body, and then there's a way that you can get inspired by looking at a two-dimensional representation of the body. And I mean, it's hard not to be inspired by those Renaissance paintings. So I kind of do, when I take pictures in the museums, I make compositions of the paintings that I'm looking at that I could potentially use in my paintings. So they are definitely things I'm thinking. I mean, I'm in a transition now, so I'm developing the work. So those are things I was like, almost like sketches of ways of thinking about how I might make compositions in my own work. And I'm also very interested in drapery right now, and fabric, and there's a lot of fabric and drapery in those paintings, and I don't know exactly which came first, looking at those paintings, or I think that's just something I'm interested in. So there are maybe 1 or 2 things on the door that I might directly use as a watercolor, or there's one especially with the fabric that I was like, oh, I could maybe, this is like I want to do something like this for sure. But then that's not enough to know what the composition's going to be exactly. I mean, I think that the first parts of the painting, I'm not as productive because if it's a new person, I feel like uncomfortable. Like there has to be this like transition between, like a familiarity has to happen before I can relax and really focus on the painting and like feel like, and part of that is feeling that he's comfortable. So, and he probably isn't in the beginning either. So that takes a while when I'm actually like painting, but my painting isn't. I'm more productive after that period, and that could take a while. And now lately he's been sleeping in this position. He can sleep. And I need to just because like sometimes I'll come in and I'll be like blah blah, chatting, and he's really amazing to talk to, and he's very open, and I really enjoy speaking to him. But that's another way of like I need to be disciplined and just get into the process. And sometimes it is nice to though have this kind of communication with the person I'm working with, because somehow it's a nice part of being around another person and stuff like that. So it's a balance also with that kind of like sharing an experience in a dialogue, and also just getting into my own headspace.